Hey, Jamaica, how are you?
Wow.
Aloha, everyone. I'm doing well, Raja. Thank you. Hi, Vicky.
Vicky's here. Is
Hi,
Angel
Jamaica.
here?
Hi, Raja.
Is Angel here? Is the question.
That's the question. Oh, Dara's here too.
Hey,
Hi,
Dara. Dara.
Angel's at the water bowl.
Uh,
Dara, hope you're doing okay. All right. I think we should get started since it's a few minutes past our scheduled starting time. Anand, please introduce yourself. I'll introduce myself after you, and we can.
awesome.
Yes.
Just, you want to go in presentation mode real quick?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming. This is our first information session about SIP 2023. My name is Anand Valaria. I'm the operations coordinator for SIP, and we're very excited to have everyone here today to learn more.
Thank you, Anand. My name is Raja GuhaThakurta. I'm the founder and faculty director of the Science Internship Program. We'll, later on, we'll say a little bit about the history of this program, but I'll say a little bit by way of my background, Anand. I'll bounce it back to you for your background after that, but I'm a professor of astronomy and astrophysics. I'm the department chair of the astronomy and astrophysics department here at UC Santa Cruz. Anand, if you could say a little bit about your background and your role, that would be great.
Absolutely. I'm a class of 2020 COVID graduate from University of California, Santa Cruz. I finished in economics and business. I was a PA for the science internship program while I was a student. When I graduated, I was a consultant for a short period of time. I was a product manager as well. And I came back for SIP 2022, and I'm happy to be on board for SIP 2023.
And Anand's the operations coordinator, as the slide shows, and PA is program assistant. So he was a work study student. He worked for SIP. Now,
Yes.
let's see. I want to say a quick word about this picture. The young woman on the far right of this picture is my daughter. She took part in this in the SIP program when she was a rising sophomore and as a rising junior. And okay, welcome to our first information session of 2023. We'll have a total of 8 sessions. The first 4 will focus on different aspects of the program. We won't have drastically different content in each of the 4 sessions. If you take 1, that's probably enough. The main thing that will be different from among the first 4 sessions will be what questions get asked and how questions get answered. We have them all on Wednesdays. This one is on a Wednesday. It's 8 to 9 p.m. Pacific. All of them will be on Wednesdays, but they'll be at different times of day. And the idea is we want to accommodate people in different time zones with different work schedules. Students, parents, educators, anyone really who's interested in this program. So our website will contain it does already contain the Zoom link that you're on, but it'll also give the times and dates. They'll all be on Wednesdays again, Wednesday specific time, that is, and but there'll be at different times a day. This one's at 8 p.m. Anand, if you could talk through the format of today's session, that would be great.
Absolutely. There was a QR code when you said you were going to say something about a little picture. I thought you were going to refer to the QR code where if you use your camera, you can easily go to the SIP website and see everything we're talking about. But yes, Raja's daughter and the QR code, we both had something we wanted to say.
So this QR code will take you to this website that's on this blue banner with white lettering.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
And then just a couple of things about this call. This call will be recorded. We'll be posting it to YouTube shortly after for everyone that wasn't able to join us live. Please mute your microphone. That doesn't mean if you have a question, you can please unmute then. Raise your hand if you have it during the call. We will have time for Q&A at the end. We did our introductions. Again, there will be time for Q&A at the end. And today we will cover what is the SIP program, how do the research projects work, what is the timeline, what to expect, and then for the third time, a Q&A session.
Yeah, we'll have plenty of time for Q&A. So this doesn't mean you can't post questions in the chat while we are presenting. Feel free to do that. We have a couple of our colleagues monitoring the chat, so you're welcome to do that. And again, if you just joined, please mute your microphone. If you could please mute your microphone, that would be great. Thank you. All right. Next slide. This is the basic structure of our SIP program. It's a 2 + 8 week program. It's 2 weeks of research preparation. So learning some of the tools of research, up to optional weeks of research preparation, followed by 8 weeks of research. It's for high school students. You know, it started out predominantly in STEM fields, but now includes social sciences, humanities, and arts. If you're just joining, please mute yourself. Sorry. 2021 was the first year in which we started to include things outside the umbrella of STEM, so arts, humanities, social studies. Sorry, social studies were already, social sciences were already part of the S in STEM, but we started to include art and humanities a couple of years ago. One of the hallmarks of this program is it involves close mentoring by world experts in that particular research topic, you know, so world experts in, you know, whatever that field of research is. The mentors include PhD students, postdocs, staff researchers, and faculty. There's one-on-one mentoring. We have mentoring groups, and you know, small group of mentors work together, and high school students work in small groups too. We'll get to that structure in just a bit. The projects are authentic in the sense that the SIP projects are embedded within the mentor's own research. That mentor's research may be going on for years. If it's a PhD student, their research may be going on over a period of 5 or 6 years. The summer research project for, you know, the 2 + 8 week summer research project that the high school interns work on will be embedded within something bigger, which is their mentor's larger research project. In addition to the research our students do, there'll be opportunities for wider exposure to enrichment in current research, academic lectures in other topics, current research in other areas than the one they're doing research in. And we even have college preparation workshops, financial aid workshop for college. These are embedded into the program, and they're sort of sprinkled throughout the various internship days over the course of those 8 weeks. In fact, over the course of the 2 + 8 weeks. All right, Anand, I'm going to talk through this slide and then give the next slide to you. Okay, so a good way to think about the SIP program and the kind of research that goes on, it's open-ended research projects is what happens. So these are cutting-edge projects that are potentially publishable. You need that style of project in order to attract funding for the research. Most of this research is federally funded, involves close mentoring, as we said, by professional researchers, you know, whose 100% job is to advance that research, you know, typically PhD students. Involves trial and error. It involves trying something, failing, and learning from that. It's called research. It's not called search because you don't find it the first time. Mentors work in small groups with students. Now, you see a progression here. I wanted to say a little bit about that. Often, before students take a deep dive into research, they've already accessed the people and processes behind the research. We offer some programs in that area, something called Shadow the Scientist, but there are other ways in which students can encounter research and researchers for the first time. Access, enrichment, and exposure to research is something that is often the first step for a young person to get involved in science. Once they're interested and want to get further engaged, they have to learn research skills. One of the most important research skills today is learning how to code a computer. We offer that through a program called Python and Research, but we also offer something where we teach the programming language R in the context of computational biology. Then comes something called controlled or prescripted projects. SIP is not like that. SIP is about open-ended project, but in a controlled project, what happens is a mentor has completed a project. They take the intern through the steps of the project, but they can control the amount of instruction they give the intern. And in this sense, it's control the degree of difficulty. The degree of difficulty is controlled, and there's you can have it such that the intern navigates a path without ever failing because the mentor's already navigated the path and knows how to get from the beginning to the end. Again, that does not describe SIP. SIP is really open-ended research, but the mentors have not worked on these projects before. So I want to be clear on that. Okay. Anand, take it away, please.
Essentially, the essence of SIP is to really focus and hone in on critical thinking in the context of closely mentored, open-ended, real-world research projects. So again, Roger just stated this right before he handed it off to me. These are not made-up projects for SIP or reused projects that have been used previously. It is working alongside grad students, postdocs, people doing research, and bringing in high school students to help them in their research while building critical thinking skills and managing expectations. What you see in the movie sometimes isn't really what research looks like, right? You're not making the discovery, you're not naming a planet. So actively learning and realizing how it works and developing the skills. This is something that SIP really wants to provide for students, and it's an excellent opportunity for young interns to participate in.
Very well said, Anand. What I want to riff off that and say that what SIP guarantees is immersion in the research process. What we don't guarantee is a research product at the end of the summer. A researcher's time is not measured in weeks. It's usually measured in months or years, even decades. So we don't offer a discovery or a product at the end of the summer. That wouldn't be an authentic research project if we promise that. But we offer immersion in the process, a real research process, without any guarantee of a well sewn up result or discovery or product at the end of the summer. In fact, the environment looks very much like this picture. It doesn't look like a classroom environment. In this particular case, it's a chemistry lab. Erica, our student here, Erica Escalona, is from a local high school, Aptos High School. And she was a rising senior when she did this program. In the previous year, she was, a little daunted by SIP and said, no, I like chemistry, but I'm not sure I'm ready for this. And she didn't apply. And she really regretted it and applied the following year and loved it, absolutely loved it in the program. It showed her what chemistry research was like. She did this as a rising senior. Later, after that summer, she applied to Princeton for early decision, got in, attended Princeton. She's graduated from college now, but it had a transformational effect on her and on her family. She was a first-generation college student. Her parents hadn't gone beyond elementary school. So it was a huge transformation for her and her family. All right, next slide. Anand, please.
Yes. So we are embarking on our 15th year of SIP, the 15th anniversary. I think we should all give a round of applause for us still being here in the chat. Yes, we made it. 15 years old. We're in our teenage years, but we're not driving yet. So, all right. But over the last 14 years of SIP, there have been over 365 high schools represented. There have been 365 high schools represented. In total, 1,831 high school participants from 1,537 different high school students. There have been 294 instances of repeats. Are these SIP students that have repeated, or?
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So in other words, there are 1,537 individuals, but there have been 1,831 instances of participation.
That makes sense. All right. And then numbers wise.
Here are the schools. Oh, sorry,
Yes.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's a perfect transition. If we talk about numbers, I was going to talk about last year we had 326 students in SIP 2022.
And SIP has grown by 2 orders of magnitude since its inception in 2009. We started with 3 students from 1 school, and now we have, we have had close to 2,000 participants from 365 schools. I don't know, why am I not seeing the school? Oh, there we go. Okay, sorry. Anand, you want to take this or should I? Up to you.
I can take this.
Please.
Yes. So as of right now, we have a close to, for every one male student, there are 2 female students. And then if you look at it from another point of view, roughly a third of SIP interns have come from an underrepresented ethnicity. They're a first generation college aspirant or applicant, and they come from a low income background, financial background. So SIP is a melting pot. We have participation from the Bay Area. We've really grown in our international presence, people coming from, Raja, do you know the number of countries that we've had SIP participants from?
About 20 countries is sort of shown here.
Okay.
It's best shown through this high school. In terms of number of countries, you'll see that all the red entries correspond to schools that are outside the US, and all the blue entries correspond to schools that are outside California, but in the US. So there's a lot of red on this page, is what you can see. This is the number of high schools, and of course, each student that came here attended only one high school. So there are at least as many students. There are actually more students because some of these international students sent us, international schools sent us more than one student. But so there's quite a few countries, quite a few schools from international, quite a few international schools, and also there's quite a lot of blue on the page as well. If you looked at a graph like this in the early years, it would be all black. It would only be California schools. But we started to add out-of-state schools first and then international schools. And there are quite a few international schools now, many countries. My guess is 20. I won't try to count in real time.
Harry, our trusty fingers on the keyboard, gave us the quick stat in the chat. Last year in SIP 2022, there were 64 international interns coming in from 19 different countries, other countries. Yes.
That was just last year alone, of course, but integrated over the 14 years, the number is higher. If you notice that some of the names are in italics, some are in Roman font. Italics means it's a fee-based school, so it's an independent school or a private school. And when it's in Roman font, that means it's a public school. It's a no tuition school. That's what the fonts mean. Again, the colors are black for California, blue for US, non-California school, and red for international school. In many cases, the schools have multiple branches. We've listed each branch. A good example is Delhi Public School. That's been represented by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different campuses. All right, Anand, should I move on to the next slide?
Yes, please.
Okay, we're going to now talk about, give you examples of specific research projects. Anand, feel free to take it away. This is a great example of our SIP interns on a field trip to Google, where they were in a ball pit, in a plastic ball pit. They were having a lot of fun, but go ahead.
Absolutely. So a research project consists of 1 to 2 mentors, a primary mentor and or a secondary mentor. They are PhD students, post-PhD researchers. They can be professors as well. For the interns, we strive to place a minimum. The minimum would be 3 or more. The minimum would be 3 high school students, and there can be more depending on mentor and project capacity. There is a strict must be 14 years of age or older rule for high school students to participate in SIP. That is through UC Santa Cruz. And
that age criterion has to be met not at the time of application, but has to be met by the starting date of the program, which this year, the kickoff is on Sunday, June 25th. So if the intern wanted to start work on June 26th of 2023, they would have to make sure that their 14th birthday was before that. If you're very close to that limit, please contact us. It would mean you would only start after you were 14, but contact us if you're close to that limit and you have any doubts about this.
Quick context for that or the 3 or more high school interns, it's always a great a good thing to have more than 1 or 2 people on a Zoom call just to alleviate any situations where anyone can feel uncomfortable. So we really strive to make sure there are multiple people on a Zoom call or in person just to make sure everybody's safe.
And we hear from a lot of our interns that they learned a lot from one another, from fellow interns. They, of course, learn from their mentors as well. We hear that a lot, and collaborative work is how science gets done. So we're really modeling how science gets done. In most disciplines, you work with others. Our mentors have said also that having a group actually relieves some burden, because some of the more basic questions sometimes get answered by the interns among themselves before something important or something big or something more technical bubbles up to the mentor's attention. Okay. We have been, last year, we offered 20 different subject areas. Over the history of SIP, over the 14-year history of SIP, we've offered the following 14 subjects. This might be a great moment if you see a subject here and you say, I have no idea what this means. Please put that into the chat. And
if you don't want to type it out, you could just say the
explain
3 letters.
The 3-letter code. Yeah, the 3-letter code is fine. I bet many people haven't heard of CPM, computational media. And if you want to put that in, happy to explain it. But I'll wait for your prompt. If there are particular topics that say, wow, I've never heard of that. What does that even mean? Please put that into the chat and we'll do our best to explain it. You can also do this in the Q&A session if you prefer. Just to be a quick run through, these are arranged alphabetically. Anthropology is in the social studies division. UCSC has 5 divisions. I see something in the chat.
MET.
MET and ANT. Anthropology is the study of people, really people in society. It's in the social studies division. MET is microbiology and environmental toxicology, is looking at the looking at the minuscule biology, microbiology of toxins and how how our environment, how we as individuals or other living creatures interact with the environment. Yeah, CPM, very good. I'm very glad that people are interacting. So that was a very. I'm not an MET, so I'm not an anthropologist either. So I'm giving you my lame explanation of what these topics are. CPM is computational media, which is design of typically computer games, video games, computer games, but with a social purpose, typically with a social purpose. Sometimes these are games intended for children, sometimes children who might be on, say, for example, children who might have a speech impediment. This is a game that's designed to improve diction, improve speech. It might be a game that is providing relief for, there are VR games that are designed for children on the autistic spectrum. There are very definite social purposes there. I remember a CPM project in the past that had to do with cars and roadways, but the context was about really civil engineering and the flow of traffic in, it was really had to do with urban engineering. Yeah, if you were a former SIP intern, please feel free to list the subject area and project title. That's great.
Okay.
There isn't a maximum number
crowd.
per group, Sophia. That's a great question. Yeah. Okay. So BME, biomolecular engineering, is really at the intersection of genetics, but using sort of information technology techniques where you have a vast volume of information. You're really using engineering techniques, data engineering techniques, applying that to biology. That's my understanding of BME, biomolecular engineering. There isn't a maximum number to a group. It's really set by the mentor. For example, I'll be offering an art project this summer. I would be fine with having 10 interns on that project. Applied artificial intelligence is really using machine learning, artificial intelligence to a variety of subject areas. That's what AI is. Dorothy, thank you. You were in and Terry, you were in CSE 07 in 2 different years, and you were in AI 03. Does environmental studies include civil engineering? It depends on the specific project. It really depends on that. And Vegat, welcome. I remember you were in AST last year. Okay, very good. Let's, I just want to say that there are some topics here. Linguistics falls under the humanities division here at Santa Cruz. Art is clearly in the art division at Santa Cruz. How many do we accept in each subject category? That's great. Yes, you can apply without a lot of background knowledge. That is certainly, every project will say how much prerequisite knowledge is required for the project, and typically it's none or very little. We know this program is for high school students. We want to teach you these topics and techniques during the summer. We don't expect you to come in with a lot of knowledge. We expect you to come in with a lot of interest, passion, desire to work hard, desire to learn. That's really what we're looking for. We're not looking for students to come in with a lot of background knowledge necessarily. Let's see. Is there anything related to mechanical engineering? Yes, there is, and typically that's under computer science, computer engineering. Robotics is under that. There's something called origami robots that's being offered this year. It's been offered for multiple years. There is a lot of design that goes into some of these projects. It really varies from project to project. Yeah, that's a great answer. It depends. Terry, thank you. The number of slots available in each subject area varies quite a lot. If you want to hear which projects are that have the most slots, psychology has a lot of slots. Astronomy has a lot of slots. CSE, computer science, computer engineering, and CPM combined have a lot of slots, but CSE alone has a lot of slots. The different flavors of biology combined have a fair number of slots also. You'll see biology and chemistry and biochemistry. You see biology under ecology, evolutionary biology. You see biomolecular engineering, and you see microbiology, environmental toxicology, and you see MCD bio, molecular cell development bio. So all the biosciences combined have quite a few slots. So it really depends on how many spots are available. And we can say a little bit more about a number of applicants, a number of acceptances in a moment. But I really like the fact that you guys are asking questions. This makes it interactive. Anand, can I go to the next slide?
Absolutely. And these are good questions. Don't DM me directly. Ask them to the crowd. You got Terry answering left and right. He knows what's up. He's been a SIP intern 2 years in the past. Great questions, everyone, though. Great questions.
Yeah. So this is a great example of something that is part of computer science, computer engineering. I'm going to take it away, and why don't you talk through the basic structure of the project here?
Absolutely. I just wanted to provide some quick context first. I, in the chat, put the link where you can see all our past research projects. So we've taken some screenshots, and this is a computer science, computer engineering, CSE project from a year past. You can kind of see the project code was CSE01.
Sorry, my bad.
No worries at all, Raja.
By the way, it's the sites link, Anand. You probably don't want that one.
The sites link, it got me.
Yeah, so
You are right.
You might want to replace that.
Okay. I was so close, yet so far. Okay.
I would do it, except I'm sharing my screen.
Yes. Give me one quick second.
No problem. So the basic
Wait, Raja,
structure.
I'm done.
Oh yeah, you're done. Okay, all right. Go ahead.
They do say I've got the fastest fingers this side of the Mississippi.
Very good.
Okay. Please, can someone confirm that that link works? You should see past research projects 22, 21, 20.
Just a quick thumbs up in the chat. Oh, very good.
Just
Thank you.
confirmed. Yes,
Thank you.
yes. Perfect. So this is a screenshot or a snapshot of what you would see. Our 2023 project slate is still, the projects are coming in, mentors are applying. They're in the process of getting posted. We will be posting them soon, as quick as possible. But a good way to get a sense of what SIP offers is by looking at 22 projects, 2021 projects, 2020 projects. This is the general outline. Raj, you want to go on presentation mode real quick?
Oh, sorry.
You'll see the number of interns, the location, the primary mentor, faculty advisor. You can research them. You can see them on LinkedIn. Do your research, everybody. Project description, you'll get a sense of what they are working on, what you will be working on, a couple of tasks, what you will learn. For example, in this project, SIP interns will learn the concept behind generative and adversarial networks, how to implement them from scratch. We'll learn various deep learning concepts and tools using the Keras library, some more technical skills, using Google Colab to solve programming problems. Essentially, ChatGPT, large learning networks. If you're interested in that stuff, you can do that in SIP. So this is a great way to see a project. There were 95 projects last year. We have a very exciting slate. We have a goal of getting 100 projects this year, but
and if you're wondering, why aren't all the 2023 projects up on our website yet? It's because we started collecting projects way back in the fall. But because these are authentic research projects, mentors don't know sometimes exactly where their research is going to be over the summer, whether they can offer it as something that is something that high school students can engage with or not. This is why we have to wait till quite close to the summer before we have our final slate of research project. We have something like, I would say something like a quarter of our final suite of projects already submitted that we're in the process of vetting. We expect to have over 100 projects by the time we launch the program in the summer. But by the time you apply, which is 3 weeks from now, already we'll have a suite of projects on our website. It won't be the final suite, but we'll have a good enough set that you'll have a good flavor. You don't apply to particular projects, you apply to particular topics, but you'll have a sense of what kind of projects are in the different subject areas.
We have another example.
Interns choose subject areas. Yes, we do, indeed. This one, my favorite subject.
Yes. And this is just to highlight, this is primary mentor, Dr. Martin Gaskell. He's returning this year for his 10th year as a SIP mentor. He's a great guy. And a lot of people have enjoyed doing research with him. This is an example of an astronomy and astrophysics project. Raja has a lot of offerings in this subject area as well. For this one, there were 3 interns. The location was remote and online. Astronomers now believe that every large galaxy contains a supermassive black hole in its center. Because of the tremendous energy released as a black hole grows by swallowing gas, these black holes can be readily detected as so-called active galactic nuclei. That's a very nice description. Sounds like a story. Tasks. SIP intern involvement in the project will consist of analyzing multi-wavelength spectral observations of relatively nearby actively accreting supermassive black holes to try to understand the emissions and how the black holes grow. This work will involve compiling data sets, applying corrections, making statistical estimates of parameters, and comparing the results with theoretical models of processes going on around black holes. Required skills, computer programming. Skills will hone computer programming, statistical data analysis. So this is basically, if you're interested in a astronomy and astrophysics project, this is a sense of what you would see in this project.
I'm frantically typing here in response to some of the questions in the chat. Very good, very good. Let's move on to the next slide. And this one really goes into the details of the summer program. This one slide, we've tried to capture some of the key elements of 2023. Now, many of you already know about SIP. Some of you have done this program before, but SIP was completely online the last couple of years, last 3 years, because of this, because of the pandemic, because of COVID-19 restrictions. Yeah, SIP, Shelley, I will answer your question in just a moment, but SIP is going to be in hybrid mode this coming summer. It's going to be based on 100% in-person participation for certain interns, certain projects, 100% online if mentors specify that for their project, or some combination of the two, right? So our goal is to deliver something comprehensive and inclusive. So meetings, instruction, workshops, even social activities, we'll do our best to cater to all interns, whether they're in person or online. If you're worried that you may not be able to engage very well if you're online, please consider participating in person. But even if you participate in person, you will require access to a computer and the internet. We might be able to help. We as a program might be able to help. This is a program that requires something like 6 hours of work a day for every working day. So a typical schedule is 9 to 1. 9 to 12 and 1 to 4 with an hour break for lunch. That's why 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. is 7 hours, but we expect 6 of those hours to be working hours. We really ask interns to prioritize their research in SIP and to not take on too many other summer commitments, at least during the workday. Many of our interns have, especially our local interns, go home in the evenings, have been able to play sports or do other extracurricular activities in addition to their research internship. I'm not saying that is blocked out, but we discourage people from taking on other academic commitments during the workday, during these, at least 6 of the 8 active weeks. Interns must commit to working at least 6 of the 8 active research weeks. You're allowed to miss up to 2. Tell us in advance, tell your mentor in advance which 2 weeks. But attending the beginning of the program where the mentor is laying out the project is going to be important. We have a bunch of extracurricular activities, as I've described before. Enrichment lectures, we have something called STEM Horizon lectures that a variety of lecturers give these lectures. We will talk about accommodations too in just a minute, Smita, meal plans, etc. We will definitely. There's opportunity for room and board at UCSC for non-Californians, absolutely. How does, great question that someone asked, and I don't think we'll get to it. I don't think we have any slides on this, but SIP relies heavily on the applicant's voice. So we read your essay. We read what subject you're interested in, why you're interested. We rely on teacher recommendation. These are the main factors that are used to select students. So when you write, be yourself. Don't write. Write about yourself. Be as authentic as you can. Yes, if you are reapplying to SIP, please have your recommender resubmit the letter of application. Generally, in-person programs, some mentors would say we have to do our program in person. Often mentors are doing lab-based research. We'll put that restriction on their research, but we'll make this information available when projects are posted. Some will say that hybrid allowed or hybrid and in-person, or whereas others will say allowed to be completely online. Okay, let's move on. This SIP is a fee-based program. It's an application fee. And if you have any hardship paying the application fee, please reach out to us. We don't want you to not apply because the $60 presents a barrier. Please talk to us. We'll provide a waiver. The tuition for the program is $4,000, and we first collect a 10% deposit when students are admitted to the program. And assuming they accept our admission offer, we ask for a deposit. And then after that, a couple of weeks later, we ask for a complete registration form and the remainder of the tuition. This year, we'll also have housing and shuttle, and I'm going to go to the next slide on it. But a very important thing is our SIP team, our CREST team, there's 6 of us who work together. We are deeply committed to making this program available to all students anywhere in the world. You see this in all caps here. We offer full and partial scholarships. They're based purely on need, based on household income and number of dependents, number of people dependent on that household income. We have made it possible for financial aid applicants in past years to take part in the program by providing scholarships, by waiving tuition, and also by covering room and board. I know there was a question about whether out of California, out of state students will have their room and board covered if they get a scholarship. Absolutely. Otherwise, if you don't qualify for a scholarship, then you pay extra for the room and board. So the $4,000 that was on the previous slide, the 400 plus 3,600 is just the tuition. It does not include housing, meals, or shuttle transportation. All right. Anand, anything else before I move on to the next slide?
No, you did a great job covering it all.
Go ahead. This is all for you.
Okay, perfect. March, it's an exciting month for us and you. You have 31 days. I'm just playing around. The application will be open starting from March 1st. The first part, you would want to put in your personal information, name, email, address, year. Then we get into, that's just your personal information. Then secondary information, teacher recommendations. You want to get one recommendation from a teacher, from a recent teacher. There were some questions, and thank you for asking them to the general chat. You can use a previous teacher recommendation, just make sure that it's updated and it reflects what you want to submit for SIP 2023. And you would want to attach an unofficial transcript and a grading report. In part 3 of the application, this is where you indicate availability. You want to be available for 6 out of the 8 weeks, or 8 out of the the entire 8 of the 8 weeks. You would select your top 2 subject areas. What are you interested in? And you would write your essays regarding those. Short essay on what you would like to get out of the research internship program. Raja, if I'm not correct, is it 200 words for the 2 subject area essay prompts? And then that personal statement is kind of like the 500 word?
I don't remember off the top of my head. Maybe 200 and 300. 200 for each of the subject essays and 300 for the
Okay.
personal statement.
Definitely. There were some questions about word limits on the paragraphs, but essentially that. And then part 4 would be certification and submitting your application. In the month of March, every Wednesday, we will be holding application workshops. So if you have any questions, if you want to get some one-on-one time or just get help filling out your application, please feel free. The times will be on the SIP website. It's a joint process. It's a lot of back and forth. We will be posting the links to apply on the website. So just check the website. There are always updates. Everything is the most up-to-date knowledge on SIP 2023 is there. There are FAQs as well that you can see. So before you ask your question, go through the FAQs because you might find the answer there. But yes, the month of March, this is when you apply.
Sorry about all the typing noise. Sorry, Anand.
No worries. I did not hear it at all.
Okay. So really, as we discussed earlier, the essays you write in, your top 2 subject area, an essay and your short essay on why you'd like to do a research program, those carry a lot of weight in our review process. So does the teacher recommendation. But someone asked in the chat, and I want to go over this, that, why is it that we, do we offer admission on a rolling basis? Not exactly. But we do, the admission cycle is quite extended. It's for the following reason. We make an initial round of admission offers, and when we do, we don't have the full number of intern slots available that we're going to have at the beginning of the summer. So we make our initial round of admission offers, but we have a huge wait list from which we make further offers for 2 reasons. We make further offers from the waitlist for 2 reasons. One, if someone who's received an offer says, no, I'm going to do something else this summer, or this project is not a good fit for me, put me back on the wait list, then we can fill that spot from someone who's already on the wait list. A second reason we have a wait list is because new intern slots, new projects get submitted throughout the course of the months of April and May. And when new slots become available, we fill them from the waitlist. Okay. So in this sense, admission tends to roll. We start making admission offers in April, but it tends to continue through the month of May. Does that answer your question? I will, another question is, what is the total number of students that attend SIP? Another question is typical applicant to accepted ratio. I'm going to mention this right here since we're talking about application. Last year, we had 1,395 completed applications. That means all 4 parts were completed, was submitted, application fee was paid or waived, was 1,395 completed applications. There were many more. There were close to 2,000 applications, so an additional 600 applications where people started it, but when they got to the essay, they didn't fill out the essay, or they didn't pay the application fee, or they didn't complete it for some reason. So I'm going to count close to 1,400 completed applications. We had 326 students in the program last summer. We expect to have more students in the program, hopefully 400 students in the program this summer. We don't know yet, depends on how many projects are submitted and how many intern slots are available. But if last year there were 326 slots, close to 1,400 applicants, completed applications. And we made, even though there were 326 slots, we made close to 400 offers. We made 390 some offers because about 60 people turned us down for other programs. So about 20% of the roster size. Roster size was 326, but 20% of that were situations where students turned down the offer and we offered it to someone else. So the total number of offers was close to 400 out of 1,400 applicants. There you go. Yeah, Terry, your numbers are off by just a little bit, 326 in the end last year, but you're very close. Okay, excellent. Thank you, though. Thank you very much. So the acceptance rate is something like a little over a third. So it's something like, oh, sorry, a little under a third, I guess, close to 30%.
Terry will check that math.
That's what it was last year. I can't guarantee. Yeah, that's, so yeah, Terry, please check my math. So don't take 327 and divide it by 1383. You shouldn't do that. You should take 390 something, because that's how many offers were made. Remember, I said about 60 people turned us down. Sometimes, Philip, sometimes students who complete, applicants or interns who complete the summer program continue their research into the fall. It really depends on, why does it say no? I didn't type no.
That's a very strong no.
Who typed that no? It wasn't me. It claims to be me.
Yeah, an impersonator.
Impersonator, very good.
Well,
I'm going to counter by typing a yes. There we go.
What? Okay.
That's me. I typed the yes.
Interesting. Okay.
Is there another person with my name? Looks that way. Anyway, coming back to it, yes, sometimes students do continue their research into the fall. It's not within the confines of the SIP program. The SIP program ends on August 19th with final presentations. But depending on the mentor's availability, depending on the nature of the research, depending on the intern's availability, it's not uncommon for mentors and interns to continue their research into the fall. Again, not a guarantee provided by the program at all. I'm very curious as to how there's someone with my name typing stuff into the chat. I'm curious. Maybe there's someone else with my last name and first name. Oh, well, okay. This is the nuts and bolts of the, these are important dates. We already heard, Anand, please talk through this. This is very important.
So this is found on the SIP website. So we're on the homepage, scroll down a little bit. March 1st, application portal opens. March 31st, that's when you submit everything, application deadline. April 28th, that's when we will have our first round of offers sent out. Again, we described there are multiple rounds, wait list, things can change, but expect to hear from us April 28th. May 7th is the deadline to accept admission offer and then pay your deposit. The May 14th is the deadline for the full payment and your registration packet. The program, the first 2 weeks are research preparation weeks. These are online. These are fully virtual. The program kicks off on Sunday. We did not mention here, but expect to move in Saturday.
No, Sunday. Typically,
Sunday.
Sunday is the move-in date. The RAs move in on Friday or Saturday, but the interns, their first, the housing week runs from Sunday night through, from Sunday dinner, the meal plan, the weekday meal plan runs from Sunday dinner through Friday lunch. This is the weekday meal and housing plan. If you're on a full week plan, then of course it includes Friday dinner and Saturday, or all of the Saturday meals and Sunday breakfast and lunch as well. But the cycle starts with Sunday dinner and ends with Sunday lunch if you're on a 7-day a week housing program. If you're on a weekday housing program, it starts with Sunday dinner, ends with Friday lunch.
Perfect. Thank you for having the right answer and correcting me on that. So the program kicks off on Sunday. That is also going to be an orientation event. And then research kicks off Monday, June 26th, and will run for 8 weeks until August 18th. Our presentation day is on Saturday, August 19th. I understand we've had a lot of questions about school starting earlier. If we want to talk about the last week is SIP final presentation day practice. So interns are working with their mentors. Usually this is remote, has been remote the past 3 years, but we would really strive if your school starts, let's say August 7th, August 10th, around that time frame, you would work with your mentors and make sure you can prioritize your schedule. So school would come first and your availability for SIP would be after school hours and on a virtual time that fits in with your mentors and your fellow interns.
Yeah, and the idea is you do a group presentation on presentation days. So if it's 3 or 4 mentors doing, sharing a set of Google Slides, sharing the narrative, you can do that work online, the preparation of the slides and the preparation of the narrative. So please don't let the fact that your school starts before August 19th get in the way of your applying to or participating in SIP. Talk to us if you're worried about that.
There's one question.
If there are conflicts on, sorry, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna state the question out loud, but if there are conflicts in some of the days, we did say you want to have your availability for 6 out of the 8 weeks during the research summer program. If you can minimize that to a 2-week window, if there are certain days here and there, as long as the intern has communicated that with their mentor and it works for the group and they're not missing key or vital moments, let's say whether it's in person or something, that's more of a conversation to have then, but just kind of strive to keep that within a 2-week minimum, 2-week maximum, so they can fully have the remaining 6 weeks.
Okay, so the question about how much it costs, right?
Yes.
How many hours per day is the online preparation? It's actually quite flexible. We are, I think it's a few hours a day. It's not 6 hours, it's 2 to 3 hours, depending on what's happening on given days. The time differences is something we've had to deal with. We also record sessions so students can do it asynchronously. We try to do things, some of these workshops first thing in the morning in California, that may not be great for Hawaii students, but it may be super early for them. But yeah, Rishabh, we already answered a question about rolling basis. So if you watch the recording of this session, we covered that. Okay, we are getting close to the end of time and we're getting close to the end of our slides. So we have 2 shuttle
options
offerings. We have a shuttle offering that is, 2 options. One is a northern shuttle option, a southern shuttle option. But you have to sign up for it the week before, so if you're going to sign up on a week-by-week basis, if you want to sign up for the whole summer at once, you can, but otherwise you sign up by Wednesday noon of the previous week. These are the different options. There's a North Shuttle, South Shuttle. But these are for students. The South Shuttle is really if students are in housing, we only offer the South Shuttle Monday AM and Friday PM. The North Shuttle is both daily shuttle as well as Monday AM, Friday PM shuttle. Sometimes students get dropped off, sometimes students drive, not allowed to drive during the internship day, but you can drive to campus and back. Public transportation is, of course, an option as well. All right. Again, these are the details of the North Shuttle. This information's on our webpage as well.
It's under
We
transportation.
don't have under transportation. Very good. Yeah. And so we're working with the charter company. The old bus company we used to work with pre-pandemic is not going to be able to work with us. We have UCSC contracts with a few other transportation companies. We're going to work with one of them. We've listed some prices for 2019, shuttle costs for weekly costs. We charge for housing and shuttle week by week, depending on how many weeks you sign up for them. My sense was it was, in pre-pandemic housing, weekday housing was about 700. So it was a little over 100 a night. It was 700 for a 5-day program, and it was closer to 900 for a 7-day program. That's what it was. That's housing and all 3 meals. It was a little over 100 a day if you want to get a set. But we don't accept signups on a day-to-day basis, but week by week basis, just because otherwise it's very difficult for us to plan residential advisors and staffing around housing. We have a South Shuttle as well. Those are the stops they used to make pre-pandemic, and this is a university vehicle that goes there. The North Shuttle is a contracted vehicle. This is what dorm housing looks like. It's like living. It is a college dorm that you live in, shared housing. You could be in a triple or double for your housing. I'm rushing through these slides because of the time. Anand will be in Crown for the first time this year. We were in Merrill one year, which is a neighboring college. We've been in Crown for the first time. Lovely names of the houses, Gauss and Galileo, famous scientists, of course. And we have a lot of rec activities: beach, trip to Google on the upper left, trip to Lake Observatory in the upper right, trip to the beach in Santa Cruz in the center bottom. All you can eat in the dining hall for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Literally all you can eat. Many options. Gluten-free, vegetarian. Really caters to a wide range of dietary preferences and restrictions. This is just a quick snapshot of the kinds of things available. Thank you, Anand, for putting this together. And UCSC is very conscious about providing nutrition information. So obviously, this is something you can access online. But this is our sort of last slide of substance, which is summary. We're coming up on the 15th year of SIP. We are we offer high school students the opportunity to take part in open-ended research under close mentorship. Mentorship is something that means a lot to us. Wide range of topics, wide range of topics, some dates, and this is a great time to ask us questions. I know we are at the end of the hour, so I don't. If people need to leave, they should. We'll keep recording. I'll stay back for a Q&A if people want to hang back.
Mm-hmm. I just want to say quickly, thank you everyone for coming. I'm going to put the email in the chat. So if you do ever have any questions, please email us at ucsc-sip@ucsc.edu, and we'll do our best to get back to you as quickly as possible. But yes, thank you for coming. And we're here for questions. So if you do want to stay and ask us directly.
Yeah, Begad, just to answer your question, Ms. Sarah is with SIP. She just wasn't able to attend this evening. For students who stay on campus overnight, are they restricted to stay on campus? Yes, not just on campus. They have to be in the dorms, under the supervision of residential advisors who are college students who are certified to be residential advisors. Thank you, Sumita. We are proud to be going into our 15th year.
Yes, and back in person.
We think that most projects will have the option of in-person and online. There will be some projects that will be offered purely online, but most projects we think will have sort of a combination. Yeah, the ages tend to skew towards juniors and seniors, especially for students who are coming from far away, but it's not, the youngest you can be is 14, as you heard, but in terms of class, you can be a rising freshman. We have a few rising freshmen in the program every summer. we tend to have the highest number of rising seniors, and then somewhat fewer rising juniors, somewhat fewer rising sophomores, and then small number of rising freshmen as well. This has been the case each of the last 14 years. But you're not limited to, you don't have to be a rising senior in the summer. You don't have to be a junior now to apply to the program. One of the advantages of doing this program earlier is you can participate in this program multiple times. We've had students participate in the program up to 4 times. So rising freshman, rising sophomore, rising junior, rising senior. Abranil, yes, interns can go fully online if the hybrid option is made available. Definitely, that's possible. It's sometimes more difficult to engage purely online, especially when your fellow interns are there in person. So it's a trade-off. Thank you all. They've been excellent questions. I really appreciate it. It's made our task super easy because we could direct our description of the program to people's interests, thanks to the many questions on the chat and the many comments. Thanks, Ayan. Nice to hear from you. We have a budding poet on our call today. Wonderful.
Ed, you asked an excellent question. We would want to stick to the 9 to 4 time frame, 6 hours of work a day. It is summer. They are young students, interns. It's a solid chunk working 5 days a week within those parameters over a course of 8 weeks.
I think the main time when students are working outside those hours are to accommodate time zone differences.
That is true.
Oh,
Angel!
Angel! Is Angel going to make a video appearance here? Can we please have that? I'm going to stop my screen share.
Let me wake her up.
I saw she was on earlier, right when we started. You were showing Angel. You're waking Angel up for us. Everybody, double tap on Vicky's screen so you can pin it, and you'll see the cutest dog.
This is the school's mascot, and we know because we visited Angel not in person, in dog.
Okay. She went to the vet yesterday.
Wow.
Say hello, Angel. It's
Hi.
Woof.
Oh, Raja.
She's like, I was peacefully asleep, and now I'm on Zoom.
She did do
Story of us all.
a quick vet visit yesterday.
She's so cute.
She hasn't been doing well.
I think the best way for Molokai students to get into SIP is to claim that they're going to bring Angel with them.
Oh, Angel, you want to go to Santa Cruz?
Aww.
Angel likes to surf. She likes to surf. You want to go surf in Santa Cruz?
So it's a great question. What do students typically do after 4 p.m. in the dorm? One of the things they do, so what happens is we have sort of social activities, some of which structured by the residential advisor, some of it unstructured. In other words, if a small group of students, if we have a buddy system, a small group of students wanted to go for a run, they could do that. If they wanted to chill in the dorms and read, watch, play video games, watch something, watch a show online, they can. There's dinner time, and we all go for dinner together. Then we have other, sort of outdoors and indoors activities after that. So until sort of bedtime. So from when the internship ends, the academic part ends at 4 p.m. to lights out, which, in the late evening, whether that's 10 p.m. or 10:30 p.m. There's a lot of freedom. There's dining hall time, dinner time, but outside, other than that, there's a lot of social activities, structured, large group, small group, individual. Yes, the presentations at the end of the summer, parents are, strongly encouraged to be present, and so are siblings, so are, if you're a local student and your teacher wants to come to this is great. We strongly encourage participants. We'll probably run it in hybrid mode, I imagine, the final presentation day. And past 3 years, we've run it online, but we'll run it in an auditorium where we'll be able to do it through we'd run it hybrid. SIP is definitely group research, collaborative. It's not a race. You're not racing your fellow interns. You're pulling together. It's more like a tug of war where you're all pulling together. You're trying to get to the results, get to the answer. You're not pulling against each other, if that makes sense. It's this is really very much about collaborative research. We don't need an SAT score. We don't care very much about GPA. We really care about the students' desire to learn. There's one quality, it's the desire to learn, and desire to be challenged, desire to acceptance that what they're working on is much bigger than themselves, and that they will fail, that they will encounter roadblocks. Those are, we find that social maturity around understanding the perspective of open-ended research is the biggest predictor of success, single biggest predictor of success. Yeah, we have, we can give you access to past presentations.
Yes.
Yeah, when we did it, Terry, you're absolutely right. We did it in multiple parallel Zoom sessions. And when we do it in person, it's multiple classrooms. We're having, it's just like a conference. You have parallel conference sessions. So all the psychology talks might be in one classroom, all the physics talks might be in a different classroom, et cetera. And then we come together sort of for a plenary session where we hear from some mentors, interns, parents at the end of the conference. It's sort of a half day, or maybe more like a 2/3 of a day conference. We start early in the morning, we end with a late lunch. That's what, and as the SIP program has grown, we have more and more parallel rooms rather than making the day longer and longer. If we ran them in serial, it would be a 4-day conference. 100 projects, right? 100 projects, 15 minutes of presentation per person, or it should be a capital PV, all caps.
If you would like to get a sense,
I believe, yeah, there we go. A password.
there you go. There you go.
It's case sensitive. Yeah.
Click that link. Put in
What
the
is the
password.
maximum number of interns in the group? I think, like I said, my art project will probably have 10. But when you have that many interns, the presentation will probably give you more than a 15-minute slot to show off your artwork. And we rarely have that many interns to a project. 3 is very common. 3 is the most popular number of interns per project. We've had 5, 6 sometimes, but feel free to check out the presentations. One of the beautiful things about SIP is at the beginning of the summer, the mentors talk about what research they do, and we wait for knowledge transfer to take place over the summer. At the end of the summer, you hear the interns' voices, and what they're talking about is the very same research that the mentors talked about at the beginning of the summer, but now you're hearing it through the voices of the high school students who worked on the project through their lens. And so SIP has these 2 bookends. On the kickoff, they mentors speak, and at the end, high school students speak. Sophia, no, the program doesn't bear any kind of UCSC academic credit. What does happen, though, is our interns ask their mentors to write letters of recommendation for college. Students write college essays, college application essays that are heavily based on the research they've done. So those are things that happen on a regular basis. So there's certainly, what's the word I'm looking for? There's certainly no obligation for mentors to write letters of recommendation, but they often do. There's no obligation that your college essays will be based on your SIP research, but very often they are. Our students have been spectacularly successful in college. Guess what institution most has, so remember, there were 1,500 SIP alumni. Not all of them are in college yet. Some are still in high school. If you had to name one institution, which institution has more SIP alumni gone to than any other institution? Any guesses?
Feel free to say them
1 or
out
2
loud.
guesses. Which institution? Say it out loud, yeah.
No?
Not UCSC. Very good guess. No, it's actually UC Berkeley. It's the most popular
Cal.
destination. Cal. Second most popular institution
Yes,
is Stanford.
that's what I was thinking.
The third, I don't remember, it fluctuates, year to year as different people go. In the top 10 are, the first is Berkeley, the second is Stanford. In the top 10 are Harvard, Princeton, MIT, Chicago, Santa Cruz, etc. So good list of colleges, not shabby.
Yes.
And I'm not pretending that students get into these colleges because they do SIP. Rather, they come to SIP because they're academically motivated, bright students, and we help them along their academic path. We are well past our time. We're 15 minutes past, and I want to be cognizant of the fact that some of you are staying up late. Yes, please go ahead, Shelley.
Sorry, I asked a couple of chats. I apologize. Can a 14-year-old do lab research or hands-on? And will the kids know, when they choose the area, that this would be in person?
Yes, they will. At the time they choose, they will know. That's a great question, Shelley. Certain labs, certain projects, you'll see in the project itself, it will say that the intern is required to be at least 16. And often that has to do with lab safety requirements. It varies.
Okay.
It really depends on the, if it's hazardous materials. Often if the material is hazardous enough, it cannot be offered as a project at all. But if it is offered in SIP, sometimes there are additional age restrictions. Those tend to be 16 and over. But if it doesn't have such a restriction and an applicant is 14 as of June 25th of this year, there's no reason why they couldn't take part.
100%.
Awesome. And then, sorry, one last question was, if someone's repeating, should they ask their mentor to write a sort of supplemental email and not take up the reference slot, but the one reference slot?
They should write the reference letter is what I would recommend.
Okay.
That their past mentor could write the reference, write the
Thank you.
recommendation. Sure.
Thank you so much. So
Thank you.
helpful.
Thank you, Shelley.
Thank you for being here. Okay. It is 9:15. How are we feeling?
I'm happy to stay on a little longer, but I also appreciate that others may need to leave. I did want to take a moment to introduce some of my teammates here. Lindsay is connecting from Southern California, and we've worked together quite a bit. And Lindsay helps run the umbrella organization that SIP sits under, which is CREST, Creating Equity in STEAM. That includes SIP, it includes Shadow the Scientist, it includes Python and Research. Speaking of Shadow the Scientist, Jamaica is connecting from the big island of Hawaii. She's our coordinator for Shadow the Scientist. Let's see. Abby, one of our colleagues, who works with Anand, Lindsay, Jamaica, and me. She is hopefully fast asleep because she's in the UK, and it's 9 o'clock here, so it's 5:15 a.m. for her. Maybe she's just waking up, not quite Zoom ready. And Cirrus wasn't able to join today because she's under the weather. But we're a team of 6 who run the SIP program and Shadow the Scientist, Python and Research, and really everything under the CREST umbrella, Creating Equity in STEAM. I see many familiar faces here. Huisan, welcome back. Let's see, who else do I recognize here? Hunter, I recognize you. Vicky,
Good questions,
course.
Hunter. Good questions.
Terry,
Terry,
Ted, welcome.
2 times SIP intern.
Yeah, wonderful. And I'm sorry, some of your Zoom names are such that they're a little sometimes ambiguous. I can't tell which Angela it is, but if you've been associated with SIP before, please shout it out. Especially for the person whose Zoom name is iPad. I certainly don't know if you were part of SIP before, so please feel free to shout it out. Wonderful. This is really wonderful to see so many people interested. I am excited about a great summer research ahead.
Yes.
Yes, this is definitely, ARIA is definitely open to applicants from the East Coast. We've had several applicants from, multiple schools up and down the East Coast, So definitely all over the US, all over the world, really. We've had students from all over the world now. So I would not exclude the East Coast, definitely not. Other questions in the chat or in person? I am getting hungry, so I'm going to run off soon. But Lindsay, Jamika, I hope this was useful, the session, because this was sort of a crash course in SIP.
Yeah, I feel like I learned a ton just listening to you both.
Absolutely.